Hello, Queens. My name is Skya. I will be your host today. Welcome to another episode of Spill the Secrets podcast. On this podcast today, we're going to be very casual, very friend-like. So I encourage you all to watch this video all the way through and to comment down below after I've asked all these questions that I've got from other queens to see if you learned anything or any other questions you may have. If you want to be anonymous or just to be a little more secretive, you can always DM us or email us, whatever you need. So let's get into it.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
The first question I have, and I have them pulled up on my computer. So the first question I have is, what are some of the most common misconceptions people have about STDs, STIs, especially among women? Now, a common misconception is either you confuse them because the symptoms can be similar, or you confuse your natural discharge with an STI or STD. Your yoni does naturally discharge itself. It does naturally clean. But what helps is using things like suppositories and yoni pearls. Those are to help people who don't have that really strong system that really can just help it cleanse itself. Or maybe you just want that extra boost. Another major misconception is that STIs have common, very noticeable symptoms, and that is completely not true. For example, it says chlamydia and gonorrhea can actually be completely silent while still causing damage. So another myth is that only people with multiple partners are at risk, and that is also not true. The truth is that anyone who is sexually active can be exposed, whether you know this person, whether you've been with them for a long time, whether they gave you the results and then something happens. You know, sometimes people lie, unfortunately, or sometimes your body just reacts. So you could end up with an STI at least. You just never know. Also, I guess another stigma that people usually say is that women who get STIs means that they're unclean or don't bathe or, just not healthy down there. And that's completely not true. Again, it all depends on how your body reacts, especially when you're changing partners to a new one, even if it's not often. Sometimes your body needs to adjust the same way with products, the same way with people. That's natural fluids that's going inside of you from things that you're doing. But you always want to be mindful of everything that you do. So another question I got was, can you break down the difference between normal vaginal discharge and discharge that may be a sign of an infection or an imbalance? Yes, I can absolutely answer this question for you, Queen. So normal discharge is normally like a milky white kind of color, more translucent. It does have a slight smell, but nothing that's like funky or like really, really noticeable. It's just very mild, or it could be no smell. But if you're experiencing things like yellow or green or very thick, like cottage cheese, like it could be a number of things from UTIs to STDs, STIs, bacterial vaginosis, or yeast infections. Like it could range from those mild things that you can go to like a doctor and get antibiotics, or you may end up having to get medicine on the more serious side. All you want to do is be in the know. When you are showering, using the bathroom, anything that involves you having to use your yoni, make sure that you know what's coming out of it. That's going to be your number one best tip. So the next question, how often should you be getting tested for STIs or STDs, and what does a full panel usually include? Sexually active women or men should you should at least be getting tested once a year at the minimum. But what will be a good rule of thumb is, especially if you're changing partners, no matter how often that is for you, that's your business. But at least maybe every 3 to 6 months. And sometimes in between, you may be, like I said, you may be talking to the same person. You just want to know like what's going on in there. And even if you go and get tested, maybe you'll find out you actually have a yeast infection and didn't even know it. May be a mild one. Or you have some symptoms and you're thinking it's STI, but it's not. It's maybe a yeast infection or something that's like not so scary, not so triggery. So that is really good to know. Full panel, and I'll explain that, is pretty much what do you get tested for when you do go. So a full panel typically includes testing for chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, HIV, herpes, sometimes, trichomoniasis, I think I said that right, and hepatitis B and C. It's always best to speak with a healthcare provider directly. Let them know what your symptoms are. It's okay to have something go down there. That is what the doctors are for. I'm telling you now, it's better to be safe than sorry. So another queen asked, what role does diet and lifestyle actually really play into maintaining my healthy hoo-ha? And can certain foods, I guess, affect vaginal health? Yeah, there we go. The answer to that is absolutely. What you're putting into your body again is going to filter out through your yoni, through your back end. But what you really want to do is really be mindful of what it is that you are putting in your body. You want to stay hydrated. You want to eat healthy fruits and vegetables that help um, with the natural balance of your yoni area in your vaginal walls and all of those things to help keep it tight, keep it fresh, keep it like nourishing itself and all of those good things. It is very, very, very important. Also, what is very important is what you wear. So, especially when you're going to sleep, if you're a gym girly, take those clothes off as soon as you get home. I know some people don't like to actually shower at the gym because I feel like it's a little unsanitary for me personally. Even with shower shoes, I don't know. I just, no. But what I feel is best is because also my gym is not that far from my house. I don't want to keep those sweaty clothes on for too long. That is going to build up that bacteria and mix with the sweat, and then you're going to definitely end up with some type of infection, whether that's a yeast infection or something a little more stronger. Your body's different. Um, but you definitely want to make sure that you're taking off those clothes, putting on fresh clothes, and also, especially when you're wearing underwear, even if you don't um, wear underwear at night, but for my girlies that do, you really, really, really want to make sure that you're wearing something that's loose. You don't want something super tight, and you also don't want to wear anything other than like cotton underwear. I know we love our thongs and all of our fancy laces and all those things, but it's not good for daily use and daily wear. I'm telling you now. I know it feels cute, but it's not going to feel cute when you have an infection. But also, just as a side tip, wearing really, really tight underwear all the time can give you razor bumps and ingrowns and all of those things I've learned from experience. Please don't do it. Even when you're like, oh, it doesn't feel like it's too tight. If you have to think about it, it probably is. And it's okay. Just get a bigger size. That means you just get it thick. Okay, so another queen asks about this is more so geared towards our feminine washes. So, hey girl, if you're watching this, thank you so much for your review on our feminine washes. Clock it. But she also asks, what are a few natural and holistic tips that women can use to support using vaginal products and vaginal washes? So my tips would be using gentle and unscented washes is usually the best. We love our smells, our Bath and Body Works, our fancy scented vanilla and all those stuff, but sometimes it's just best to let your body get cleansed with something that's not scented and something that is really good and actually safe for your yoni down there. So what I would recommend is our feminine washes, and we have a number of them. So we have our all natural ones. So for the queens who may be allergic to smells or certain oils that are in the other ones, but we have our all natural. We have our lavender. We have our aloe vera, which is my favorite. We also have our probiotic one. So that's for if you just need something a little bit stronger. But get this, we also have one for men, and it is amazing. It's eucalyptus in it, and it's really, really perfect for helping you guys both at the same time just be amazing and get all of the great benefits. So get your man some too. Boom. But also another good tip would be taking supplements, whether that's like cranberry and apple cider vinegar supplements that we also do have, or if you want to try out, or if you want to try out supplements that go in your yoni, like our suppositories. Boric acid suppositories are really popular right now, and we know why. We get a lot of reviews about queens saying it worked within hours. They're cleansed out. They're getting their test results back with no infections, and they're just loving the results. It is something that you can use for about a week as a treatment. But with our feminine washes, you can use that every day. Now, that is something that you kind of just wash the outside, it doesn't go actually in the hole. But with our suppositories, we do have a applicator too, or you may use your finger. It's up to you. But that's my tip for that one. Another question is, when should someone be concerned enough to see a doctor about changes in smell, color, or irritation down there? Now, this circles back to my first part. You must know the difference in natural discharge versus bad discharge, okay? And again, every discharge that isn't good for you may not be associated with itching and burning and discomfort, but it's best to know about it because that means you're going to get what? Checked out. Clock it. So if discharge is smelly, thick, or just doesn't, like, something just doesn't feel right, it is your time to go to the doctor. I'm telling you, you will thank yourself later than trying to figure out what is going on and be on the tail end of it and be messed up. Also, again, if you do have all of the symptoms, you could experience itching, burning, or really being really discomforted while having sex. And it's not just because it's big, okay? It could be because there's irritation in your actual vaginal canal, and that is okay. And it could be from numerous things, but you want to know why. So if you're experiencing changes in your discharge and discomfort, go to the doctor, please. We have so many amazing questions, but a lot of them are kind of similar. So I kind of just went over the things that really stood out to me on the questions. So, yes, always remember to get help. If you are just in your gut feeling like something is not right, it's not. And it's okay to go to the doctor. Do not be scared. If anything you want to know, always make sure that you are mindful of your discharge. And here is a chart right here of what good discharge looks like and what other discharges look like and what they could possibly mean. But there's more online. Do your research, know exactly what you have going on, all of those good things. STIs and STDs have different common symptoms as well, and the percentages of getting each one is a little different, and I'll put a picture up here as well. But make sure that you're knowing what each STD, and STI looks like, because at the end of the day, your symptoms, they may have all these symptoms listed out on Google, but you may not have all of them, but you might have the actual infection, and you don't know. So yes, if anything, stay safe, queens. We want you to make sure that you're doing everything you can to stay safe. So that's using protection and also being mindful of the body washes and products you're using on your yoni and in your yoni. So obviously, I have to leave you guys with a product recommendation. We have an amazing combo online. So if you're in between which feminine washes, you can always start off with the natural one. So you can get a natural feminine wash, our detoxing yoni pearls, and our suppositories. And here are a couple of reviews right here of some amazing queens that have talked to us over the years since we've been growing this platform and our business. And just being able to see that they are reaping these benefits, from women getting pregnant after having hardship of trying to do that, or women that are suffering with continuous yeast infections or just want that extra cleanse. They're here. They're showing up, they're showing out, and they're giving us the reviews. And we want you to be next. I myself have tried our products, and I've been working here for quite a time now, but I'm so excited to hear from you, queens. If you are watching this video, I hope that you love our products, and I can't wait to share some stories, hear some feedback from you all. So see you in the next one.